Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the recap episode 3 with myself, Stephen Kernick, and joining me, the world's slowest alien, Janneman Pruis. Janneman, welcome back.
Good evening, Stephen. Yes, good to be back. Episode 3, time's flying. We're moving along. And let's see what's in store for tonight. I believe it's the Grid Championship that we're going to have a look at first.
Yeah, the Grid Championship taking first in the recap. But third place going to Quinn Duplessis, who went and had a fantastic time out there, which is absolutely incredible. Good to see a new name up in the podium. Second place going to Daniel Rowe after a hard-fought battle and a very, very big gamble at the end, going with only fractions of a second left to get into the pit box for that mandatory stop. He cut it close, but ultimately Tariq Adam taking that first place spot and once again stretching his gap in the championship for the Grid Championship Season 4, brought to you by Metal State and Raceface.
Absolutely, Stephen. This was quite a fascinating race. Tariq Adams, running the strategy of not taking new tires. Daniel Rowe took new tires and he had to make up the time that he lost due to the fact of the tire change. But at the end of the day, it worked out for Tariq quite brilliantly, bringing home the win with Daniel Rowe in second place. So on to the next. Let's see what's going to happen this week and what strategies are going to play themselves out as we move on to round 2 at Silverstone on the 17th of August.
Yep, Silverstone going to be a tricky one for all. Hard on the tires and hard on the cars. Let's see who's going to make their way through maggots and Beckett's without getting a bit of dirt onto the tires. Moving on, though, swiftly to our Raceface GT3 Sprint Series. Third place, Mahayath Musa at the top, which is a brand spanking new name on the podium and always fantastic to see, especially out for our pros. Your thoughts on that, Jan?
Well, as you said, Stephen, always nice to see new names on the podium, guys working their way up through the classes. And, the Sprint Series is by no means just a practice for the Thursday evenings. I know we said it quite numerous times. This is now a championship onto its own. And Musa bringing the car home in third place. Let's see who will get onto the podium this week.
Yeah, Project Vapor team going to be happy with that, but ultimately second place going to Bashir Jadwat, who really took the fight right to the front. Unfortunately, the Porsche losing pace right towards the end of the race, but it's good to see Bash back on the podium, back in the front, and really rekindling the magic that he once had.
Absolutely. Now, Bash, we can't really say it's a new name on the podium, but absolutely good to have him back. Then, first place, this man, Mr. Ryan Ottens, yet again. So, Stephen, he is marching forward in the Sprint Series, and will somebody be able to catch him?
Yeah, our defending champion going and stretching his legs at the moment. 2 races done and dusted out of this 8-race championship, and let's see if he'll be able to keep the momentum, because coming up on the 16th of August, he's going to have to defend his crown at the crown, being Silverstone. Round 3 of our GT3 Sprint Series, brought to you by Raceface, Season 10 of this amazing championship that's really been setting the world ablaze and getting more and more drivers involved in it. Can't wait to see as the guys move over to Silverstone, try something new, and see if Ryan Ottens can keep up the pace, or will Bash or even Mahayath Musa be able to go and take away that win. But that being said, I want to go and talk about something that is going to be coming up really soon, and that is our TCR. Round 2 starting tomorrow evening, 15th of August at Laguna Seca. A little bit more of a bigger circuit for the guys to play with. Lots of setup work being done on the cars. Lots of guys trying to figure out what's going to work. And it's all about keeping momentum and not too much of it.
Absolutely, Stephen. Laguna Seca, you said it, it's a bigger track, but not that much bigger than the previous track, Oran Park. And Laguna Seca also one of those tracks that can really bite hard when you get it wrong. Lots of gravel runoff area, but very difficult to get these front-wheel drive cars back on track should you go off. And let's not forget, that dreaded corkscrew in these cars. As you said, I'm also keeping an eye on it. The guys are frantically working on the setups, trying to get the cars dialed in for tomorrow evening. And let's see what happens when we go racing at Laguna Seca.
That's going to be an interesting one, so tune in for it. You don't want to miss it. Well, that being said, let's also look into our other iRacing that's just gone past. Our Raceface F4 Championship, brought to you with our new sponsor jumping on board, Arnoldorf Machinery Mart, with a grand, amazing prize, a professional toolbox with tools inside, and it's worth thousands and thousands of rand. Gotta say, I'm really excited to see how the guys are doing. Third place of Heat 1, though, in the 20-minute sprint they had, which they've got 2 heats for. Third place goes to Jason Kutsi, who really put up the work for the RDSA team, and ultimately, coming up on that third spot was a hard-fought battle all the way through. He even had to battle out his teammates in the process. Second place, though, was Julian Familiaris. He also got on the power early on, started climbing his way through, and got to grips with these F4s quite quickly, and made sure to keep the pressure on our first place of our Heat 1s, which came to Troy Dolenchik, who ultimately started going and pulling a bit of a gap once he got ahead, but it wasn't an easy fought battle for him, as Julian Familiaris in second place kept him honest right to the end.
Absolutely, Stephen. Oran Park, not the easiest of tracks for the people that don't know it. Figure 8 track, a lot like Suzuka, but a lot tighter, a lot more twisty. And I raced in that race, and in the first heat, unfortunately, I met the wall as we see Troy coming through the last corner, just before the last corner on the right-hand side, and that was pretty much my race done in Heat 1.
Yeah, well, let's take a look at Heat 2, third place, going to Andrew Thomas of the RDSA team. Also managed to get a little bit more pace, ultimately getting past his own teammates to try and get into that podium spot, taking away valuable points for the championship in Heat 2 of the F4s. Gotta say, incredible to see the guys battling it out. And when it came down to teammates going and slugging it out, well, there was no love lost between them, and you got to see that from the best seat in the house, Jan.
Absolutely, I was in the car, I saw them battling. Stephen, this really was fun to race in and fun to watch, as well as the guys battled their way around the track.
Ultimately, second place, Julian Familiaris going and keeping the pace as he had to claw his way through, narrowly getting caught out at the end, so he had to try and figure out what will work. Ultimately, locking up the brakes into turn 1, getting into a group of backmarkers did slow up the pace and allowed our first place man to get past him. Troy Dolenchik picking up 2 wins for the evening, and the round 1 of the Raceface F4 Championship, brought to you by Raceface and Ardendorf Machinery Mart. Well done to Troy Dolenchik. A double win in an F4, not an easy thing to do.
Absolutely, Stephen. Well done, Troy. But for these, or for the viewers out there who don't know how the F4s and the TCRs work, we've got 2 heats. It's very much 2 entirely different races. There's 2 qualifying sessions. So essentially, it's still an 8-round championship, just like we do in the ACC and so forth. So this is essentially 2 race evenings that Troy took in concession.
But ultimately, he's going to have to redo it again. 22nd of August, we may see a completely new podium as we head out to Laguna Seca. As we saw, we got our TCRs tomorrow. Next week is going to be our F4s to do the battle. Round 2, 22nd of August. Go and join in with all the fun. Live streaming coming out to you. And, well, let's see who's going to get a little bit closer to the amazing prize at the end. Sponsored by Ardendorf Machinery Mart. It's absolutely incredible. I can tell you, I'm chomping at the bits at this one, because Laguna Seca and an F4 is just a match made in heaven.
Yeah, that's something, sorry about that, something special. And I think we're going to see a lot closer racing, because the track's a little bit wider. It does lean to a little bit more side-by-side action. And as I said, same with the TCRs. If you get it wrong, Laguna Seca can bite you.
And unlike the TCRs, this is all fixed setup, so there's no going and modifying the car to make it suit you. You've got to deal with the setup that is given, which is made by iRacing. So keep an eye out on that. That's going to change things up. Moving on swiftly, though, to another type of single-seater. We had
Slightly faster.
Slightly faster. Our F1 2023 Championship brought to you by Raceface. Third place going to Big T, going and narrowly missing out on the second place. Really had to focus on what he needed to do, using a bit of DRS to try close up the distance. Ultimately, though, it came down to who can climb on the anchors first. And Big T, well, he got third place, narrowly going and getting past the likes of Azure. Brandon Kruger taking second place after having a fantastic run early on in the championship. He seems to have gone a little bit off the pace, having to dial it in a little bit, and ultimately losing out to his teammate that got him into first place, and that was Corsair. Corsair going and taking the win ultimately at the end, beating not only the grid, but his teammates. Gonna be extremely happy with that, bagging valuable points, especially for this championship. Gotta say, I love the guys getting into the F1 2023 scene. The guys are very complimentary about the whole sim, saying that it's getting better and better. The cars are feeling easier to drive. At the same time, it takes a lot to master them, so it does give you that little bit more fun. And with it being allowed to have controllers and steering wheels allowed, means that you can go and pick up a controller and get racing with the guys to have some great side-by-side action in these single-seaters. Ultimately, though, coming up on the 15th of August, they're heading out to Silverstone for round number 4. They're going to be sliding around. Let's see if we're going to have a Max Verstappen Hamilton moment, or are we going to have the guys battling it out, charging away from the rest of the field with a dominating victory at the end, or are we going to see the guys get caught up in a little bit of chaos come Maggots and Beckett, and as they make their way through, well, who's going to be able to be in front of the DRS train at the end?
Absolutely. Will Corsair make it 2 wins in a row? Will Brandon Kruger again be on the podium? Stephen, I think this is going to be an absolute stonker of a race. Silverstone in a Formula 1 car. That is something special.
Yep, got to keep up tradition. Keeping up tradition, though. Our Automobilista 2 not going to be outdone, and they are also in Formula 1 cars and having a huge amount of fun. Ultimately, though, third place going to Graham Mole, also known as Darth Mole. Did you know that? He calls himself Darth Mole.
Oh.
Taking third place, jumping out of a GT car into a single-seater, not an easy thing to do, and a completely different sim from ACC, Automobilista 2, making things a little bit more fun. Taking that third place, so he's going to be quite thrilled with that. Second place going to Brandon Kruger, who managed to claw his way through. Remember, he's now racing in both the F1 2023 and he is racing in ACC and he is racing in the Automobilista 2, so he's really trying to get some seat time. I think we might see Azure, or Brandon Kruger as his real name is, going and having a bit of fun in maybe a TCR car later. We'll have to see. Maybe we can go and
maybe an F4.
Maybe an F4.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Do it a full house, man.
That's it. Give it everything. But ultimately,
Yeah.
first place going to Andre Serradio, a surprise victor at the Automobilista 2 after having a great run, really putting the power down and chasing out the front of the field. Then got himself into first place and started opening up a gap, which you can actually see on the live stream as well here on the Raceface channel under the Raceface AMS2 Round 2. So go and take a look at it. Also go and support our brand new commentator there. Big thank you to our brand new commentator going and having a bit of fun and bringing you all the live action straight to your TVs, phones, mobiles, tablets, the works. But ultimately, coming up on the 19th of August, we're going to have round 3 of the Silverstone. We're at Silverstone. Well, that's it. Round 3 of the Automobilista 2 at Silverstone on the 19th of August. Everyone likes to go to the UK, it seems.
Well, it seems like we're going to have a UK week, except for the guys on iRacing. They're going to head over to America. So it seems like the rest of the guys, they're staying in the UK for this week.
Well, they're going to ultimately keep it all together. But amazing racing happening on Raceface. Keep an eye out on the channel. Also keep an eye out on our social medias, out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Lots and lots happening out there that you don't want to miss. Lots of announcements also being made. Lots of little bits going and happening around the back end of things. Also, jump on our Discord if you want to come and join in on all the action. Join us in the Discord. Otherwise, go and just join in to have a bit of fun. Go and chat to everyone that's there. Talk about motorsport, talk about the real world, and get to see all the sim racing. Also, I'm saying also a lot. There's a part where guys are selling sim racing gear if you are interested as well. So go and be a part of our Discord here at Raceface. Ultimately, I think we're in for an exciting week, Janneman. You're going to be jumping behind the wheel. We're going to be jumping behind the microphone as well, and getting to watch all the action that's happening right here at raceface.pro here on YouTube.
Absolutely, Stephen. I'm going to do some racing tomorrow evening in the TCR on iRacing, but the rest of the week I will be in the commentary box with you, bringing all our viewers all the live actions, all the thrills and spills, and very much looking forward to it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that goes and sums up our recap. We'd like to say thank you very much for joining us, and we can't wait to see you next week, as we catch through all the recap and tape together all the situations that have happened, because it's just mind-boggling. Keep an eye on the social media, but like always, we'd like to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.